We are back with the Game of Life podcast. This is episode number 4. Had a little audio
Talking about
issue
life.
first time.
Yeah.
around. Talking about life.
We did have an audio issue, but we're back. We're good. We're live.
Never a video issue because I'm the fucking man.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on over there.
But
I don't know any of that.
all right, we were just talking. You going to jujitsu? Tell me about that.
Yeah. I kind of just needed. I always like to. I'm always trying to learn something new. Like I enjoy learning new things. The process of learning is exciting to me, and I've learned to like learning, which I feel like takes some time for most people. And I was just at this point where it's like I needed a new creative art, something new to try, keep my mind occupied, keep my body healthy. So I just walked in one fucking day like a month and a half ago, and I've been doing it since. It's been good. But I don't know, what do you want to know about it?
So you had no prior experience before doing it, right?
No, I was a swimmer. I was always a swimmer. My mom was like a lifelong swim coach. So was my grandma, actually. And one day I just walked in, and I was like, well, I'm gonna try this. And I went in no experience. Before I was swimming, when I graduated high school, I stopped swimming because I didn't go to college and I didn't have a team to train with. So I was just lifting weights and running and, push-ups. That was it. So, I'd go surfing and do my hobbies outside of that. But I just got sick and tired of going to the gym by myself at freaking 9 in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and moving some weights, and that was it, There was no community. There was no you were kind of just mindlessly working out. So that's kind of what got me in. I just needed something new.
Some direction.
So yeah, something directional and something where you're learning. I like exposing myself to rooms that I've never been in before, because at first it's also very uncomfortable, and after a couple of weeks, once you become comfortable with it, it can become habitual, and then before you know it, you've mastered a new skill. And you can kind of take that for anything in life, really.
Yeah.
But for the next, the last month and a half and the next couple of months, I'm taking it to jiu-jitsu.
That's very cool.
So it's fun.
As you were talking about that, like you said, putting yourself in rooms that make you feel uncomfortable. You got like a visualization going on in my head. I don't know if I took it from somebody else, but like think about a sword. Like if you want to create a sword, you got to stick that metal in a fire to get it all heated up and ready to be melted. And
Dude, that's a
molded
great
and
fucking
shaped
analogy.
into something. And like that's what popped into my head is like you got to put yourself in the uncomfortable situations. You got to put yourself in the fire if you want to be that sharp sword. If you want to master a craft, like
yeah, you gotta get heated and banged up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit banged up, right?
Yeah.
But that'll
make you a more dangerous sword.
Mm-hmm. But the jiu-jitsu thing is something that I anticipate getting into, whether it be jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, martial arts. I think it's an incredible thing to master your body. Like I've lifted weights and played football all my life and surfed and skied and done all these things. But the one thing that I've always been is like a tad bit clumsy. And I think the martial arts allows you to like really be in your body. You have to be very intentional and very present with like everything that you do. And I think that just translates to every aspect of your life, not only physically, but mentally and into business and everything.
Absolutely. It's interesting how everyone is there, because like everyone, I don't know how to put into words, but it is interesting how it's like, in terms of like learning yourself, I don't know where I'm getting at right fucking now. But it's a cool experience. I've gotten a lot out of it, at least.
That's cool.
And in terms of like learning a lot about like your motion, you do learn. It's just so intricate, and it's creative too. Like everyone, there's no right or wrong way to do it for the most part. It's very it's very conceptual, but then you have to articulate it in your own way because of your height or your the everybody's built differently, so you have to accommodate. You have things that you're genetically good at doing and not good at doing, and same thing depending on the opponent. And it's just a really cool. I think it teaches you how to think for yourself and create and articulate your own path, which you can molds which can fold into any other aspect in life, where it's like a lot of people kind of just listen and do what other people tell them to do rather than creating and articulating their own path in life. And I think jiu-jitsu is kind of like a cool art that teaches you that through movement. Yeah.
Huh. That's an interesting way to look at it. And you're very much on the way of creating your own path in life and
yeah, I've created some pretty dope shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, now we were talking about this earlier, I'm in this position now of like, what's next? And I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah. And I don't know if you ever truly know, because I journal a lot, right? And for a while, as I was getting started with this business, I would sit down and I would quote unquote brainstorm, right? And I have like, I probably got almost 30 brainstorm sessions of like between like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours where I just sat there and just wrote out everything that I wanted, everything that I thought I could create, everything, all these ideas, and I'd put them in one spot. And it was just because like I didn't know where I wanted to go, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like I was trying to make sense and get clear on like, where do I want to go? And like you did get clear on where you wanted to go, and like you created what you wanted to create, and now you're at a point where it's like, what
that's
do I
the
do
thing.
with
It's
that
like
now?
it's so interesting on how fulfillment works, because like I've had this goal and I've spent the last 3 years getting there, and it's molded me into the person I am now, which is great. And now that I'm there and I've done it, it's like, what's next? But it will come, like a door will open and I'm like, this is what I'm passionate about now, and this is what I'm gonna do. But yeah, it's interesting on how it's almost like it's the journey that's fulfilling. It's not the destination, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I hear that all the time, and now I see it myself in my own life, and I'm like, fuck, like what's my next journey? I'm excited.
Yeah, it's like
For
me it was trying to align like, what am I passionate about, and like what do I want to achieve out of life, and like how can I do things that's going to help me achieve those.
Yeah.
Achieve that. That's about it. Like find a passion, find your purpose, and then find where the two align, and like that's what you should be doing. Like I don't know, but it's unique to everybody. And I also don't think that, I don't know that if you ever quite just say, you know what, like I did it. Like this is all I ever needed. And like I think we're all under the impression that like one day you just make it. One day it's all just okay. And
You
like,
never do.
You never do.
There's no end.
No, there's no end. There's always that desire for more. No matter how much you put into one thing, no matter how much you have, you're always gonna want more.
We like biologically or genetically strive for what we don't have, no matter what level you're at. You'll always be striving for something you don't have, to an extent, I guess. I don't know. That was the only point I was trying to make.
No, you're right. It's like we look at things outside of us that we think ultimately that's going to make us happy. Ultimately that's going to make us fulfilled. But then we get those things like you mentioned before. You wanted a truck so bad, and you went and bought the truck, and it was gone in 5 minutes. You drove the truck for 5 minutes, and it was like,
bro, I was smiling on the parkway. I got home, and I'm like, well, that was cool.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I mean, it's nice that now I can do a bunch of fucking work for all the neighbors. I want to be getting phone calls left and right this summer. But, yeah, it's like, it's not really, there's no fulfillment in that.
And I mean, it's
Mr.
not.
Beast says it. It's like
Exactly.
chasing a bigger box and a nicer car is not a way to live life
No. But
at all.
But you can see the thing is, it's like you can be grateful for having those things. You can be grateful for that car. You can be grateful for the
Yeah.
relationships that you have. You can be grateful for all the business that you've cultivated and created. But at the same time, you have to understand that those things are not going to make you happy. Like only you're going to make yourself happy in this moment right now.
Yeah,
think more
only
than
yourself, and I think the most important thing is just great relationships. Like I've learned to fucking value relationships. Like that's the best thing in life is having great relationships with great people. Because you can't get that, like that has to be cultivated and created. You can't fucking buy it. You can't just get it. It just, I don't know how else to put into words, but
Well, it's something you have to nurture. Like you make
Yeah,
a relationship
exactly.
and like if it's something that you genuinely care about, someone you genuinely care about, you're going to put the time in to like keep that relationship alive and keep coming closer to that person out of just I don't know what that desire comes from, but like me and you, like we ended up connecting through Instagram and then just like over time, like we just started talking like
yeah,
nearly
it's like
every
out of
day.
nowhere. It's like I'll text you or you'll text me, and it's like, all right, we're doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
like yesterday we were talking. It's like, all right, we're doing this today.
Exactly.
Let's do it.
And it's effortless. I think the best relationships are effortless where it's like, where you don't need to, I need to text him. I should text her, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't feel, and it feels like a chore. Like those aren't the relationships you should be having. The relationships that you should be having are the ones that come naturally where you get an idea and you go, oh, you know what? Let me hit them up. Let me text them. And it's not forced. It's not, you're not putting any effort in. It's just effortless to like, the universe just kind of like pushes people together in certain ways.
Yeah, it's interesting how the universe works. Universe is fucking crazy.
It is fucking crazy. So the last podcast I had, I don't know if you've ever watched any of the clips.
I
and
don't
whatnot.
know. Maybe
Me and my buddy John had a podcast.
I didn't see that.
Still
one.
have a podcast technically. We haven't done it in quite a while. But the Being podcast, and that was all about the universe and meditation and spirituality.
I saw you guys. I think you were posting them. Was it Instagram or was it TikTok?
It was both.
It was both.
Yeah.
But I saw them when you were doing those.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about the universe on that one. We talked a lot about self-growth and mental health and like emotional intelligence was a big thing that we talked about. But
Yeah, it's interesting as you get older how much more powerful like your emotions become.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, it's like controlling it is very important. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of adult people that have no emotional intelligence, no ability to regulate their own feelings.
That's I guess that's kind of where I was trying to get at, because like the interesting for me is at least for the work that I've done over the last 3 years, I deal with a lot of people who are going through a very emotional stage in their life. Like I'm 18 years old and I am overseeing an $800,000 transaction for a family, and they have to move, and it's very stressful. And in order to buy the next house they're moving into, they have to sell their current house. And the person buying their current house is trying to back out of the fucking deal. And now, like, they're in this very stressful situation, and I am the person that has to monitor their emotions as best as humanly possible. Like, as an 18-year-old, I've learned a lot about how humans, at least, I've built a pretty good understanding of emotional intelligence. And it's just mind-blowing to me when you're saying the point, like, there are a lot of adults who don't have that. Like, I talk to some people, and I'm like, they can't grasp. They just can't grasp how, people feel in certain. I don't know I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but
I feel like I know what you're trying to say. Is like there's a lot of people who like it's something that we haven't learned, right? Like emotional intelligence. Like, did you ever in school get taught how to deal with your emotions? If you're feeling angry, you should. If you're feeling excited, you should. If you're feeling guilty, you should. You know what I'm saying? It's like we never learned how to tune into our own emotions and how to like deal with what goes on in our own head. Like that's just not something we learned in school.
It's definitely not taught in school.
No.
That's for sure.
And like
I've learned it. I've learned a lot about it on like YouTube.
yeah,
But you know, you kind of have to put your own time into that.
100%. And I'm sure you learned a lot about it while you're dealing with these people over the last couple of years doing the real estate. Like you probably learned a lot about yourself through these transactions and whatnot that you've overseen. Like you see the highest of highs and the lowest of lows on emotions when people are dealing with that much money, their livelihood.
Yeah, they absolutely, because you're also the point of contact for you're the only person, you're the person solving the problem for them, and it's like, it's very, you do get you understand, you begin to understand, you know, how the difference of like, for example, setting a certain expectation and then based on an outcome, how people are going to react emotionally based on the expectation you set. For example, like that's one example. So like in terms of my work, it's like it's not just the fact that I'm helping you sell your house. That's important. It's also the fact that throughout this experience, it goes as smooth as possible. And in order for it to go smooth for you emotionally, the right expectations have to be set throughout that process. Because if something suddenly goes wrong, you know, now you're not having a good experience working with us. So it's like understanding how to monitor other people's emotions has absolutely helped me to learn how to monitor my own. Because like I've formed my own coping mechanisms. It's like if I'm angry, I work out. If I'm happy, I'm just happy. If I'm happy, I'm fucking smiling. But I don't know. What do you think?
It's been interesting for me is like I really had I guess everybody has a degree of emotional intelligence. Like that's
Absolutely
what it means to be human. But it was something that I never like put a label on or never understood until a couple of years ago, probably like sophomore year of college. I started really realizing these different emotions that I would experience on a day-to-day basis and like how they played a role in my life and like trying to understand like what emotions bring me down and like just having a knowledge of these different emotions. So there's this resource called The Scale of Consciousness by this guy, David R. Hawkins. And it basically goes through the lowest of low emotions to the highest of high emotions. So at the bottom, you have shame, grief, guilt, fear, contempt, anger, right? Those are going to be the low emotions. Then the high emotions are more of contentment. There's bliss, joy, love, peace, right? And it's like, how can you balance out the lows with the highs, and how can you utilize just consciously tuning into a high emotion? Like if you're feeling angry, right? Say you're angry at your mom. Oh my God, I'm so angry at my mom. If I can just tune into how much I love her at the same time, it just transmutes these different emotions and kind of there's another book, I forget what it's called, but it talks about the alchemy of your emotions. You could basically just consciously utilize your own emotions in your head to just like turn them into different ones. So like I'm angry at you, but I love you. So boom, there. I'm no longer angry and consciously utilizing those.
Dude, I gotta find this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. Oh, there's such a good line. It's on one of my notes. But it's funny. It's very interesting how sometimes you have to like trick yourself consciously to believe in one thing so you're not the other. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, sometimes like for example, if you're trying to build a business, you have to trick yourself into the vision of what it's going to look like and that it's guaranteed to work. And if you can't truly convince yourself that, you're not going to be able to go through the pain and suffering of building it unless you have that fucking vision.
Absolutely. It's you have to be delusional. We said
Yeah,
it multiple
you
times.
have to be. That's the best way to put it. I guess that's what what we're trying to get
Yeah,
to.
but
You gotta
but
be
at the
delusional
same time,
in
you have
life.
to be delusional. Something I think that a lot of us fight is like we fight our emotions, right? So if you're feeling angry, you're feeling shameful, you're feeling like not worthy, like in any of those things. Say your business isn't making as much money as you want, or you just got dumped by your girlfriend, you're feeling unworthy, you're feeling like undeserving of things. You could sit with that and feel it. It's not like you just have to feel happy all the time. You have to feel at peace all the time. It's like we're all human. It's just like sitting with your emotions at the same time is like so powerful to like actually understand yourself and actually cultivate a life where like you are going to be fulfilled all the time. And like, I don't know. That's something that I try and practice at least.
Yeah. Would you say you're trying to practice like just being conscious of how you feel, but at the same time, I guess don't let it bring you down in any way?
Yeah, well, I think there's just like a level of detachment that you can get from your feelings, right?
Got
so like
it.
understanding that I am not my thoughts, I am not my feelings, and I'm able to sit with my thoughts, my feelings. Like I have a lot of doubts. Like especially when I was getting started with this business, I'd have a lot of doubts.
Yeah.
I'd have a lot of insecurities. I've
I've had mine too with my
Exactly.
business.
And I'd have all these thoughts of like, and you'd be sitting there going to bed and you're thinking about what you're going to say to people on the phone tomorrow. You're thinking about how did this project turn out yesterday, blah, blah, blah. And you have all these thoughts, emotions tied up and intertwined in your work. And it's just being able to like step back a little bit and just watch them pass rather than identify with it. Feel those emotions, feel what those emotions are trying to tell you, because they're there for a reason. But at the same time is like, don't get so entangled in them that you become those emotions. So like I can experience fear in my business. I could be experiencing fear or anxiety about signing a big deal, or you with the real estate, same thing is like, but like you don't have to say I'm anxious or I'm fearful. You can just sit there with that and just like feel it for
You don't
what
have
it
to
is.
yeah, you could feel it, but you don't have to express it.
Exactly. Or you don't have to
Or
identify
with
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's the better way to put it. Identify with it.
Yeah.
Because like the other thing is like, you know, if another thing that I like to take in perspective is like if you have a problem that time can solve, then it's not a problem. I think that's a Tate quote. Not gonna lie. But like in terms of like work, you know, the other day it's like a buyer terminated the deal. It's like, okay, this is a problem time's gonna solve, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. You know, we pivoted, we put it back on the market. We're running open house Saturday, Sunday. We turned back on our ads campaign. We'll have a buyer in a week. Problem's going to be solved over time. So I don't have a problem. I don't have to worry about it. And like that mindset of, because so many people stress about the future, but they also like when you think about the past, you know, I mean, I shouldn't even be talking about the past. When you think about the future, people stress about it. And I've had my stresses about the future. But if a lot of the problems you're stressing about will be resolved throughout simply time, it's not worth sacrificing how you feel now stressing about something that's going to be solved tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now or a year from now. You know, it could even be like a year where you're like, oh, well, this will figure itself out in 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when you have such big of a problem that it's going to take that much time to solve it, that's when people, I think, struggle to see like the light at the end of the tunnel, but you know, the reality is 6 months will go by. You'll learn all of these lessons from that experience, and then whatever problem it was, it could be solved, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of just like, we've all got problems. I was listening to Tony Robbins talk about problems, and he's like,
Problemos.
He's like, if you think that there's any person on this world with no problems, you're out of your mind. Like, even the most successful people, the most fulfilled and happy people on the entire planet have problems, but they just deal with them differently. Their relationship with their problems is different than your relationship with the problems. So it's like, it's not about creating a life with no problems, because that doesn't fucking exist.
That's not exciting. I want fucking bring it on, motherfucker.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
It's
almost like when I don't have problems, life is boring as fuck.
Exactly.
Like it makes it exciting.
Exactly. So feed the problems. You're gonna have problems, but it's about how you deal with them. Because like, so the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies all are full of problems. But I bet you all those guys and girls are very well off and deal with their problems effectively. Of like, they have all these problems, but like their problems are solved already, because just how they view them, how their relationships are built and all that. It's like,
and that's also a reason of why they got to where they are, is because of the relationship they have with being able to solve problems. Mm-hmm. And as you grow older, the scope of the problems that you're solving grows. Like, you're dealing with bigger problems, which in turn is more stressful, and you have to build a greater stress tolerance, and you have to, like, it's all part of the process of growth over time. In fucking 10 years, like right now I could be solving a problem for a family, and 10 years from now I could be fucking solving problems for a city or a country or a state or like a company of 500 people. Like, I could be, and the scope of the problems that you solve is only going to grow as you grow. I don't really know where I was getting. I'm just talking.
No, I mean that's what we do.
Yeah, man, it's pretty fucking wild.
World. It is fucking wild. We're all just solving problems. Everybody, like I said, everybody's got fucking problems.
The other thing is,
gotta fucking solve
the perspective I have is like, I try to work on my perspective, because it's like, I also think about some problems people have in other parts of this world, and I'm like, my problems ain't shit. Mm-hmm. My life is great.
It is. Yeah, that's back to like the gratitude thing of like, you could go to bed with all these fucking problems that you have, but if you just sit there before you go to bed and put your hands on your heart and just think about all the loving relationships that you have, and the food on your plate, and the roof over your head, and all the things that you get to do that you love, what problems do you really have? Like,
the other night I was home. It was like 9 o'clock. I got dinner. I was sitting on the dining table, and it's quiet. Like, every night is just me at home, and I like, every once in a while I'll shoot a video of myself just like randomly talking, just thinking about shit. And I was just talking, and I was like, you know what? It's kind of nice. Like, it's quiet. It's just me. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years, just putting my head down and working. And then it's like, who knows? In a couple years from now, my life could be so fucking crazy and bananas, and like, I will never have a break. Where it's like, why don't I just enjoy the silence? Like, I got a house. I got Chipotle in front of me. I just worked out. I feel good.
The little moments.
Yeah. And I have like a 3-minute video.
Just you talking about the silence.
Yeah, because I'm like, shit's about to get real crazy in a couple months. And I see it happening, where like my life is going to go absolutely bonkers. And I'm like, in 3 months from now, I might be praying for the peace, the silence and time I have alone right now.
A night to yourself.
Yeah, so it's like, why would I spend a night to myself fucking stressing about being with, being out or having fun or being, productive? Like, enjoy a moment of silence and a bowl of Chipotle. Fuck yeah.
I love that. I love that.
That was a really fire chicken bowl. I got
double chicken.
Fuck yeah. When I go crazy, little queso and guac. Oh.
Yeah, it's good.
Blow like $20 on Chipotle.
Yeah, on a Chipotle bowl.
Nah,
you get done with it, you're just like, oh.
Yeah. Dude,
It's
I
good.
love Chipotle. We used to hit Chipotle every night after the gym.
Every night.
Yeah,
It's a lot of Chipotle.
like 4 nights a week. Still so good.
It is good. I like Chipotle. Dude, I haven't been eating out much. I feel like
I've been making most of my food at home now too.
What do you cook?
Me. Basics: eggs, peanut butter, bananas, English muffins, chicken, rice, beef, sweet potato, sauces. I'll make like protein bowls. So you remember how I did Liam's? My buddy Liam, he gave me a nutrition and lifting program.
Yes.
All of my grocery shopping is based on like the diet he gave me. So I just buy the same food and I kind of just eat whatever the fuck I want off of that list.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's like bananas, peanut butter, everything I just listed, yogurt. And I'll do like I'll do a shop a week, and I still eat out though. But the only time I really eat out is when I am like on a time crunch or I'm bored, and I'm like, it'd be kind of nice to drive somewhere and get food.
Mm-hmm. I end up eating out a lot with my girlfriend, but I like listening to what people eat because in my head it's like you're made of those things. Like you're made of steak and chicken and eggs and
steak,
sweet potatoes and
avocados.
and
I
it's
love
like
avocados.
Like you eat very well, like compared to most people. Like you're pretty dialed in it.
I'm very dude. I've taken such good care of myself over the last 6 months. I'm in the best shape of my life.
And how do you feel?
Good.
Like you feel.
I feel cloudy because I've been smoking weed, but like when I'm not smoking weed, I am fucking sharp.
Yeah.
Dude, I have so much energy. The reason why I smoke weed is because I can't sleep more than 4 hours a night.
And it helps you fall
because
asleep?
I'm out like a fucking light.
Hmm.
But if I don't, I'm awake. I'm awake. Dude, I just have so much fucking energy when I don't, where it's like, I don't know what to do with it. And it's not like I didn't do anything. Like, I will have a full day. I'll be up at 6 a.m. I'll drink coffee. I'll work out. I'll work. I'll be outside all day. I'll lift. Or I guess work out. I already said that. I'll go to jiu-jitsu. I come home. I've worked all day. I've worked out twice. I ate healthy. It's 10:30. And I'm like, what now? Like, I still got energy in me. But I think that's because I take such good care of myself.
Definitely. I mean, dude, what you
Like,
put in your body is, like, that's your life force. That's
Most
like your energy.
people don't think about that. Like, people enjoy eating as, like, a habit where it's like this, but nobody, how you conceptualized it, it's like that's what you're made of. When I think of eating, what am I going to eat for lunch is like, what do I want to put in? Like, it's literally just what you're made of, what you're built off of.
Quite literally. I mean, the people that eat fucking Twinkies and McDonald's and frozen foods, they look like it.
Yeah.
Because they're made of those things.
It's like, why don't you fucking put healthy, good, like, all you're doing is putting good energy in you. Like, why don't you just put good energy in you?
Just whole foods.
Like,
natural whole foods. Like,
I'm sorry it doesn't
lean meats,
taste as well and isn't addicting.
But it
does.
does.
It does once you're not doing the other drugs.
See, the problem is like when you consume high sugary things and all these processed nonsense and with all these chemicals, your brain is tricked into thinking that's food and thinking that's like good for me and that's fulfilling you. No, it's not. It's food-like product. It's not even food.
It's a drug.
Exactly.
It's a straight up drug.
Exactly.
Like the Marlboro, once fucking Marlboro was like, people ain't smoking cigarettes no more. What do? Let's fucking buy all the processed food companies and fucking get everyone addicted to McDonald's.
Exactly.
That's what happened.
It's absolutely ridiculous too. Is like it does. People wonder why they feel like shit.
And they're like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. It's like, you're not hungry. You just want to eat fucking McDonald's. It's like, if you were to put a plate of whole food in front of them, they're like, I'm not hungry.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, I'm hungry, and they'll go out and buy a fucking Big Mac.
Well, yeah. But it's
They're
also
just
crazy how
craving.
much more you can eat when you eat well. Oh my God.
I struggle to eat enough now that I eat well, and it's all whole foods. You can eat so much fucking food, and I guarantee, like, if everyone ate whole foods and they doubled the amount they're consuming every day, they'd probably lose weight.
Yeah, quite literally. I mean, you think about it, you're going to eat 2 freaking Oreos, and that's probably got 150 calories in it, or you eat a big-ass orange with 80.
Your body's not gonna process the fucking Oreos. The orange is gonna be out of you in 30 seconds.
Exactly. It's just a matter of, like, what you put in your body, how you do. Like, dude, I just feel so much better when I eat like that. Like, when I eat healthy, like, you just feel better. You feel lighter. You don't feel heavy and lethargic and bloated. And
Yeah.
Like, your mind, when you don't even realize that what you're eating affects your mental state. Like, there's nutrients, there's chemicals, there's all stuff in everything that you eat that's going to cloud or sharpen your mind. So, like, when you feed yourself the right things, you're going to be able to perform better, whether it's at work or at the gym or with your relationships. Like, you're going to be overall a better person because you're made of better things.
Yeah, it definitely impacts every aspect of your life outside of eating.
Literally. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I love food. So, like,
Food is great. I love it when I'm hungry. I love water when I'm thirsty.
yeah. I mean, it's fucking awesome. I want to get off this podcast when we're done and go cook eggs and eat some fruit and, like,
I still gotta eat. I'm hungry.
yeah, I haven't eaten anything. I think we're almost wrapped up here. We're at 38
time are we
minutes.
30-something minutes.
38 minutes. 30. We slipped up in the beginning, so it's probably like 36.
Word. But yeah, dude, the food thing though, definitely, like, I've learned to prioritize what I eat. I think about my diet a year ago, and, like, I can't even remember what it was, but it wasn't great. I saw a picture of myself yesterday from, like, a year and a half ago, and I was like, holy shit, I have grown a lot.
Yeah. But it's a gradual change too. It's like, it's not just one day you just start eating healthy. It's just, you got to make a gradual shift towards being healthy. It's not just one day you wake up and boom, your cabinets are filled with greens and
A habit
meats.
takes time to build, and then once you have the habit, it takes time for it to impact you and your life. But, like, I started building the habit of, eating these whole foods and grocery shopping and cooking at home through doing that when I was on the nutrition plan with Liam, and that, like, helped me learn how to eat right. That's what it did. Because, like I said before, I like learning. I like trying, like, putting myself in uncomfortable rooms. Like, this was a room. I would analogize it as a room. It was more of, like, a relationship of someone who was guiding me through this process. But once I went through the process, it's like, now it totally changed. It became a habit in my life where this is how I eat now. And I'm not going back. I still go out to eat. Also have a couple beers on a nice Saturday night, get turned up. But, for the most part, it's totally changed how I treat my body.
It's just
Like, what was your experience with eating? Because you are very on the same page of, you do your own shopping, you eat whole, like, you cook.
Well, mommy does most of it.
Mommy does.
Shopping right now. I still live at home.
Yeah, same shit, different toilet. Well, even then, but I'm just saying, you still prioritize whole foods. Did you ever not before? And was there a shift?
I was fucking fat.
Yeah, I feel like you were a big boy.
Dude, I was fat. I have my wallet in here, but, like, freshman year of college, I was 255 pounds. like, and I ate like shit. I'd sit down and eat a sleeve of Oreos, stuffing my face, all stoned off a dab cart, watching South Park, getting crumbs on myself, dude. Like, now,
Look how far you come, man. Let's
dude,
go.
literally,
Let's go.
Like that's no joke, literally. But
Yeah.
like, I think over time for me is like, I just realized that I wasn't feeling the best I could feel, and I started getting more into the meditation and treating my body right, health and wellness, holistic health. And I started realizing what these people do to feel good all the time, to look good all the time. And I just started like implementing those habits over time. I played Division I football. Like I was doing the athletic part of it, but at the same time I wasn't treating my body the way that I should have been. Like, so like over time, over sophomore year it began, I started cooking for myself. Junior year, I started cooking even more for myself and buying food. And then senior year, I really shifted to the whole fruit and meat and whole foods and organics and prioritizing what goes into my body and looking at food as fuel and seeing, and not just eating for pleasure, because I was a fucking glutton. I was just eating for pleasure, literally. And I realized like that's not entirely how I should be living.
Yeah, it's like you almost, eating shouldn't really be that pleasurable. You're just feeling your body. You just need to feel it right. And you'll naturally be, like, it is naturally pleasurable because you eat when you're hungry and you earn that meal. That's why I don't eat in the mornings.
I use food as a reward system now.
Yeah, because I found that, at least especially when I was with my work, you know, I talk to all of my clients and I prospect for business in the morning. And when if I were to eat breakfast before I did that, half the time I wouldn't even do it. I would actually go to my desk and then I would, like, I've already had my reward and it would make me tired. Like, I'd enter a food coma state and then I'd scroll through my phone and take a nap. And for whatever reason, my energy would disappeared throughout the whole morning if I ate first thing. So now what I do is I work out, I work, and then by 11 o'clock I feel fucking amazing. I got a ton of shit done, and I'm hungry, and I enjoy a really healthy meal. That of which tastes amazing because I earned it, and I'm fucking hungry at the same time, and I don't care what it tastes like.
Absolutely.
But then most people wake up and they fucking pour a bowl of cereal of straight sugar.
Fuck Kellogg's.
Bro, that shit is so bad for you. I can't even eat a bowl of cereal. It will fucking, you will look at me and it looks like I just had a fucking 12-pack of beer.
Oh my God.
Like, I'd rather drink a 6-pack of beer in the morning than eat 2 bowls of fucking cereal. I would feel better. I'd get more done. I'd be happier. I'd be more productive. Fuck cereal. And it's all branded for kids. They're like, oh. You ever see the grocery store and it's like they have all all the fucking kids cereal boxes on like the bottom row because they're short as hell, and it's like, you know, the Avengers, and they're like, I want this cereal, and it's like
Fruit Loops and Lucky Charms.
It's like straight drugs.
It's literally drugs, dude.
It's like, can I have this? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking drug you. Kids are getting drugged every fucking day.
Oh, dude, and I used to love that shit.
Oh, it's so good.
Dude,
that's the thing. It's
I
like
could
it's
fuck
like
up
drinking
some Lucky Charms.
It's like drinking your parents' alcohol when you're 14.
Literally.
Like,
but your
that shit was
parents,
awesome.
your parents are buying it for you.
Yeah. Except don't pour water in the back in the Tito's bottle.
That's awesome.
My brother did that once. He was like stealing my parents' liquor, and he filled it up with water and it set it in the fucking freezer.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's fucking don't eat good. Eat good, man.
Yeah, eat clean, bro.
Eat clean, bro. I was just at an event. That dude spoke.
Were you at the Event 2.0 thing?
Yeah.
With Patrick Bet David, right?
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there?
No, he wasn't part of that event.
I thought he was. No?
No, he did. Ryan paid him to like do just have a meeting with him and make some content.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that he was there from the content that he put out.
No. That wasn't the event. Those were some other guys that they brought together.
Okay.
But my buddy.
How was that event?
My buddy had an extra ticket, so I went. I went last year too. Yeah.
He invited me to go with the camera. I couldn't.
You couldn't make it?
Yeah.
Yeah. He I was like, yeah, I'll go. I didn't have anything planned that day, and I went last year. It was great.
Cool.
I met this dude Dominic, who him and I were chatting on Instagram like 5-6 months ago, and I talked to him and I pretty much chatted it up the whole time, and then it was just a big panel of bunch of different speakers. Everyone had their own story, which was really cool to hear. Very interesting stories. It was kind of just like it was a panel of a bunch of really hyper successful people just telling their story.
That's dope.
It was cool. And the last guy was awesome. He was like a philosopher. He was very, he kind of just talked about like your people's ability to influence and how, like, the power of influence, how you influence people, how to do it in a way that's good for the world, and how people think when you tell a story, for example, where it's like if you were to say this, there's now this little gap in the story that the audience is going to articulate and input their own opinion or thought into. And like everyone articulates a story in their own way based on how it's presented or how it's told, and based on how you tell it, you can influence that audience to take a certain perspective, which is scary at the same time because that's like the art of manipulation.
Well, I also think manipulation can be used for good. Like, have you read How to Win Friends and Influence People? Have you read that book?
I started it. I haven't read through it.
I would recommend. That's one of my favorite books
upstairs.
that I've read. I read that last year, and like, quite literally, I manipulated my girlfriend into us dating. I read that book as
Really?
I was fucking
No
I
way.
was like wanting to like tell her that I was into her and whatnot. Basically used that book to like manipulate her into dating me, and told her that like that's what was happening. I was like, look, like I'm reading this book and like I'm using it on you, and like
I am a wizard.
dude, it's like fucking Jedi mind tricks, like, and it's powerful, but like you can use that stuff for good, like you're saying. It's like this guy seems to what's his name?
Who?
The guy that was speaking at that event.
Oh, the dude I was referring to. I don't know that specific speaker,
Okay.
but Ryan's the guy who put it all together.
All right, I gotta check that out and check out that guy's stuff because I'm into that.
I think I took a photo. He's got like a QR code. I took a photo of it. I could
Cool.
share it with you.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like the art. Well, the other thing about, like, I was reading 48 Laws of Power. Dark book, crazy book.
That book's fucked up.
It's fucked up. But it's interesting about life because between manipulation, influence, and power, your knowledge on it, like, the thing is, if you don't, the scope of your knowledge on it is important no matter what, because, like, say I'm an amazing manipulator. Like, I can manipulate people to do certain things for me. And it's like this sense of power that seems very dark and evil. But at the same time, if you don't understand it yourself, then you won't be able to know when it's happening to you. And then you could be taken advantage of by somebody who has mastered that art, but they don't use it for good. So therefore, it's still important for you to master the art of manipulation, influence, and power, because it will allow you to protect yourself from being influenced and manipulated by somebody who is not doing good. And that's kind of like my perspective on it, where it's like, you read 48 Laws of Power, and it's like it's this very dark, manipulative, evil book, but having the underlying, like, being able to understand it and have that power in you is vital. Because either way, it's the reality of the world. If you're not the one doing it, it's being done to you.
Somebody's using it for selfish reasons.
Exactly. Someone's using, and it doesn't have to be you, but you could still learn an art, and you can still learn the skill and protect yourself from being manipulated and influenced by, some other person.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of books like that, but the 48 Laws of Power, I haven't finished the whole thing.
I haven't finished it.
Read,
I got halfway through.
it's like a Bible.
It is like a fucking Bible. I got so many little notes in there. I haven't even touched that book in months, but I read through a little more than half of it, which I was proud of myself. I don't read many books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like reading.
I like the
listen to
audiobooks.
audiobooks. I just listen to shit on YouTube. Like books are great, but it's like I just absorb the information better, relate to it better. I enjoy that way of obtaining the information more. And the people you're learning from, and that's the interesting thing about globalization and the internet, is like we now have the ability to learn from people, the top performers in this world. You have the ability to learn from somebody who is the top 1% in performance in the entire world. Like the average human has never had that access to information before. And like, it's just mind blowing to me how few people go to it.
We're in an age of information. Like, information, knowledge has never been more accessible, like you just said, than right now. Like, knowledge is more accessible right now than it ever was in human history. And people that aren't utilizing that and taking advantage of it are going to get left in the dust. Like,
fuck yeah, it's fucked up. But like, yeah, I said fuck yeah, and like, fuck yeah, they are now. Like, yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to be bad.
Like, you can either get with the times and utilize this information for good, or you can continue to consume mindless nonsense on social media. Either utilize your time to consume things that are going to make you a better, more productive, more personable, like more knowledgeable and wise person, make yourself an overall better person, or you're going to get left in the dust consuming nonsensical garbage on social media. Because there's two ways that you can consume. You can consume mindfully or you can consume mindlessly. So pick which way you want to consume, and it's going to shape you into the person that you're going to be in the future.
Well said, brother. Well said.
Well said. All right. I think that's it. We'll end it on that because
Wrap it up.
That's the game of life now. You gotta fucking play it right. So
we hit a lot of fucking talking points. This was cool.
Yeah, no, this was a good one. We were just flowing with it. We gotta watch it. I'll watch it back and we'll clip this thing up. And you'll see us on Instagram. So follow me at Corey Englehart on basically all platforms. And I started posting on LinkedIn too. So
You did?
give me a follow on there. Yeah. I'm doing all. LinkedIn's going to be my main source of lead generation from here on
LinkedIn's
out.
probably great for you.
Yeah, I just signed up for Sales Navigator, so I've been
Awesome.
I was sending out connects this morning to a bunch of people, marketing directors, marketing managers, and whatnot for all different corporations and companies in Jersey. But yeah, so check me out.
Heinz Ethan at Heinz Ethan. Instagram. I started posts on YouTube.
They'll be.
but
It doesn't
I'm
matter.
on it. Go on my Instagram.
If you made it 52 minutes, 53 minutes into this video, God bless you.
God bless your soul.
We love you. All right.
I don't even think I've made it this far.